have a special guest tonight. We have Mr. Ernie from Predator Patrol Nation, and it's a damn fine thing. Welcome.
Hey, thank you guys, and it's Predator Hunter Nation. We do.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. Predator Hunter
You're
Nation.
good. You're good. You're good.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
tell me, Ernie, what exactly? Tell me what you've been doing tonight. I know what you've been doing, but tell the what you've been doing tonight.
Well, tonight I'm actually doing a training course. I do a lot of different things. Actually, I'm doing defensive tactics training course right now. I do a lot of weapons defense training. We do a lot of things. Um, like I was telling you earlier that you know, a lot of people don't understand what we stand for and who we are, and whether or not we're legit or not. People don't know that I'm the operations director for the Special Forces of Liberty Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Prevention Act. Also being the director of Operation Rock, which is Rescue Our Children. I work contracts with the former president administration, with Trump administration, for combating human trafficking for the actual
Nice.
executive order. And you can check all that out, as we actually do legislation for all 50 states. We help make the laws for human trafficking. And that's www.humantraffickingpreventionact.com.
Nice. So I see that you're well versed in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm
I've
jealous.
got, yeah, well, I mean, with martial arts, I've done professional boxing, and I just kind of like want to do a mixture of it and put it out there.
Right.
With jiu-jitsu, I know enough to survive. I'll just say that, and that's it.
I'm sorry to walk up on you, but are you that Predator Hunter guy?
Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, yes, ma'am, I'm doing it.
Oh, that's nice. That's awesome what you do
Okay.
for our kids. As a mother myself, I worry so much about the children. So I'm so thankful for what you do.
Oh, I appreciate that. And like I said before, we always do this for people who, we do it for the people. We do it for you, the people. And most of all, it's we, the people. We'll protect the children at all costs.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I don't want to take up your time. So it was a good meeting
Oh,
you.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Ernie.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Ernie,
Sorry.
you are a celebrity,
Sorry about
sir.
Oh my God. You won't believe it. I can actually literally, let me get my hat here a second. I'll show you. I can put this hat on. What we do, busting these predators in this hat. And oh my
That's
God.
not a knife.
It's like,
This is a knife.
I go into Walmart. We go into Walmart, and it's just like, bam, it's there. And people are like, we thank you for taking that stand. And, we want more and more people to understand what we do. Here's a lot of things people don't understand, and I got to keep doing this right here. But a lot of people who do it, and like with the Summer Wells case, we didn't just come into it. We asked to join way when it first happened, and we was turned away. And I never understood why we was turned away. But so we just kept on doing a predator bust and working our investigations, what we do. And I just kept on pretty much working. And next thing you know, this team just asked us out of the blue, hey, can you guys join us? Can you guys help us? Can you guys give us some input on what we're doing? And then, I was like, yeah, anytime, anything we can do to help. And then, wow, now we're getting leads. I mean, like, people they're contacting us, and everything we do, of course, we forward it over to TBI and law enforcement. And we just keep throwing the tip, we keep submitting the tips to them, and, but good God. And then so finally I was like, well, people didn't know, that, I used to hold 12, I had 12 different licenses, 12 different states for private investigations. So I started looking into it and doing my own little deal with it. And of course, you're making that timeline out, and wow, boy, we found out a lot. And then, of course, as soon as you start doing things, we've got, how do I say this out? Let the cat out of the bag. We've got means that others don't. We're running tag plates and license plates and things like that. So, and of course, everything we get, we submit it over to the TBI and their agency. But we pretty much kind of conducted a little bit of an inside investigation, and this led us to a lot. and hopefully it pans out. And, you know, our main focus and, you know, our main prayer is to bring Summer home alive.
Absolutely. Did you be familiar with a lot of the residents from that area, that holler there?
I'm not. I really am not. And the thing about it is, I didn't even have time to even look into the case. Literally, like when they turned us away the first time, of course we continued on what we was doing, which is predator hunts and predator investigations and things of that. But
you do fugitive recovery too, correct?
Yeah, I was a bounty hunter for 18, 19 years now. So.
Wow. So with that, now actually I asked because about 2 days ago we've got a meth house over here that we've just been given hell to. I actually I work with the local police in eradicating houses around here, and there was some guys that were around here trying to round up one of the people from the meth house, and he had a gun on. Like, oh man, I didn't know. I don't know the laws. Like, are you, as a fugitive recovery, can you carry guns or do you have to carry a taser? What is the deal with that?
Yes, I carry a gun. I carry a gun everywhere I go, pretty much. I mean, even and or. So I mean, it's all part of. It's just like, you know, having your cereal without no milk. You don't want everyone to do that. So.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, in terms of Summer, do you have, you know, different people, and I'm really excited. Actually, I'll just let my friend. Her name is Aussie. She's a criminalist from the UK, or from the UK, yes. And she's involved with Trace Labs and OSYNC, which is open source intelligence. So she also works these cases from the backside.
Right.
But did you get a chance?
Nice to meet you.
Did you get to do much of the other terrain, like on the mountains? Did you get to search much of that?
No. And the thing about it is, and what really hurt everything is after we done what we did, and, you know, if people can see the actual live footage, what we did, you can see that I actually held a cell phone while I was climbing a mountain and on the side of the hills, just to be transparent and, you know, to have that clarity where everyone could see. If I had found something, I would have been the first to see. They've been the first to see. And it was kind of hard to do that, especially when the mud was 4 inches deep. And we just went places that others wouldn't go. I know a lot of people had told us, and the reason we searched that place, and the whole reason even being there, is because the owner himself had said if the body's to be found, it'll be found in that covert. And that covert is from the racetrack there. It's like a little bit of water there. It's like a little stream that goes down. And we searched it, and we covered the entire area. And then if you notice, the people who don't want us doing this, is people who don't care. There are people who never will get out there and even attempt to make a search. One lady, I'm not going to say no names. We all know who it is. She was friends with a certain psychic and business partners in the beginning. But she gets out there in flip-flops. First off, you never do search and rescue in flip-flops or sandals. You cannot do that. You cannot do that.
Heck no.
So she gets out there and she's like, "Oh, don't search this place. This place is it. Ha, 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 ha." She has her little dog, Toto, with her. And I was just sitting there. I mean, I literally made a complete, I made a complete fool out of her. But it was just crazy because people actually think you can actually get out there and do it. When you do the footwork in this, it's just like you're hunting for a fugitive. But remember, now here's something else too about missing kids, and I really want to get on this. With fugitive recovery and being a bounty hunter, we have a thing called the Fugitive Recovery Network. That's saying if I'm in Tennessee and I'm looking for a fugitive out in California, I can contact the Fugitive Recovery Network, and I'll be like, "Hey, who's on in California? Who's on in San Jose? And within seconds, maybe minutes, somebody's gonna come on. What do you need, brother? Boom. I need a spot check done, so-and-so area." We have that brotherhood. We have that connections and that network marketing and ability to do that. And we have that reach out there. Now, so if we could do that with fugitives and have other people do spot checks. We can find fugitives like that, people who don't want to be found. Imagine what we can do with kids who do want to be found. You see,
Right.
that's a whole part of
Absolutely.
the network we created. And with the Trump administration, and I mean, I know with patriots and everything, but, you know, and I don't like to get in politics, but with the Trump administration, the executive order on combating human trafficking did just that. We set those networks up. I went state to state forming with law enforcement, different agencies, advocacies, and federal agencies, and people who really just wanted to help. And we formed nations. We had those networks. And that's when pretty much how I got turned Operation Rock pretty much into Predator Hunter Nation. And
Nice.
now we have chapters in 35 different states and continuing to grow.
35 states. That's incredible, Ernie. That's something to be proud about.
Well,
Can I ask
you know what?
a
Go ahead.
question?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Is a lot of us that that get involved in these certain things that become our passions, some kind of way crime has touched our lives in a real personal way. And has something happened that's pushed you towards being this person in your life? Do you have a real story behind the struggle?
I do. My family was real predator hunters. And when I say that, they didn't just hunt them down and expose them. They was old-timey people who done away with actual predators. My whole family, it's no lie, it's no secret, is killers. My brother is a serial killer. I brought my brother to justice in 2013. After that, that really is what touched me. Go ahead.
I want to hear about this.
Okay, my brother killed the mayor of a former mayor of Everett, Kentucky.
What?
And it's fact. And
Wow.
you know, the police had the wrong person. The police was, putting their investigations and stuff, but they had the wrong person, supposedly what they was talking about. And I'm not even in this. And just by listening and what I've learned through private investigations and all the training that I've taken, it was just something was just too weird about it. They had a little website called Topics. Everybody knowed everybody's business on there, but nobody knew nothing about the actual crime scene and about things that happened because law enforcement hadn't released that part about it yet. So they hadn't released the part, right? They hadn't released the part about what had actually taken place. So here is my brother supposedly knowing all of this. So just like any crime scene or any kind of criminal investigation, you have to have an outline. You have to put together an outline. And then the outline is going to detail that timeline of what took place during that. The timeline is the main important thing about what's going on. So after that, it was pretty much just bread and butter because he seen that I was on to him. And literally, we're in a room with law enforcement. He's not there. He's in another room. I think it was with the double pane glass and all that. And he tells this story. And this is pretty much like, there's like 9 or 10 different law enforcement officers and different agencies in there, and I'm in there. And we're sitting here talking about what happened and, just how we had to do everything to bring him to justice. So what was wild about it is he's sitting there and telling this story. He's like, well, the mother was on the phone with the victim, and they were sitting there talking. He was like, oh yeah, Mom. He's like, Kevin's going to be here in a minute and everything. He said, and this is my brother telling this story. Now keep in mind, after this took place, the mother took an oath of silence and never spoke another word after her son was killed until, she took it to the grave. She never spoke another word. She died not saying nothing else. So here's the thing. So he's sitting there like, well, yeah, he's like, there was a knock at the door. And he said, oh, Mom, it's Kevin. So the deceased runs over to the door And he's like, oh, who is it? So obviously the killer knows to say, oh, it's Kevin, because he heard him through the phone or heard him through the door in the phone conversation.
Right.
So he's like, oh, okay, I gotta go. So he opens the door and he's like, oh, what are you doing here and everything like that. Okay, so with all that being said, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at all these law enforcement officers and these different agencies, and I'm like, okay, there you go. And they're like, I don't get it. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he just incriminated himself. I said only the killer, the deceased, and the mother would knew that phone call ever took place. Think about it.
There's two people. One doesn't want to talk, and the other.
Right, exactly. And then there's the killer, of course. So if my brother knows that story, how is that possible? Ding, ding, ding. Case closed. I mean, it was like, so light bulbs start going off in the room, and you're sitting there like, and you know, and you kind of think about it like, you guys take this training and everything, and you're like, how would you not, you know, I mean, that the first thing that come to my mind is when he incriminated himself. I mean, that's an open shut case, pretty much. Okay, go ahead.
I have a question from my friend Aussie. She has a question regarding Summer's case.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, when you went out there, I'm just curious, did you speak with law enforcement at all? And if you did, was their response?
No, well, I've got a friend who's a detective. I'm not going to mention his name right off the bat because he's really not got anything to do with this case. But as far as
is he in Tennessee though?
Right.
Is it a detective in Tennessee, Ernie?
Yes. So with that being said and everything, like I said, the search team just asked us to participate. They had a written
search team, Ernie. If you don't, sorry, this is Cher. I'm a friend of Don's. I've been doing interviews with him. Which search team?
Well, it was a friend. It was a friend, Kelly, and I think Katie, and I think they was part of this other group.
Churchill Rescue Squad.
No. It wasn't a real search thing like that. It was just a bunch of people going out, and I say search team because I'm always a part of search teams. But
Echo Search. Or none of the professional teams that were out there?
No. It was not a professional team. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, sorry.
It was actually just a bunch of people who got together, and it came from different areas, and they wanted to
concerned volunteers.
Right, pretty much.
Awesome.
And we had to get permission. They already had permission. And they actually knew the owner of the track, and his employee is the one that stayed and opened the gate and let us in, and done all that. So I'm not questioning that part, because what part I question is what was said with what they told us about what law enforcement had said, and what the owner themselves had said about, if Summer's to be found, she'll be found in that cupboard. And that's what really drawed my attention to the whole thing anyways.
Right.
And it just being at the time, and it just being an hour and 15 minutes from where we was located. Well, hey, but since then, and this has already been turned into TBI. Nobody else has this right now. This is probably going to be breaking news. One very credible witness, he's actually really, really good friends, had spotted a girl who looked just like Summer Wells. And a bald-headed guy was carrying her. So he took a photo of the license plate and turned it into us. Of course, I forwarded all the information on to the TBI and law enforcement. Correct. And but looking into that, the Wells family has family 23 miles from where that was at. So
really,
that is a real big thing, because what he's seen and what he spotted would verify, and hey, it gives you hope and it gives us prayers that Summer's still alive. Absolutely. So, and also the thing about this is, this guy here that's seen all this is former military. He's very, very high ranking, and he knows recon, and he has studied Summer Wells. So that was a big plus. Of course, we turned all the information over to TBI and law enforcement, like we've been doing the whole time.
Absolutely.
Was
Can
it confirmed?
Yes. Go ahead. Ask me anything. I'm
actually a two-part question. What?
okay.
I feel like being that you're, that you've been connected to, the presidential office and all these other accolades, that you must also be a warrior for justice, correct?
I am.
So do you feel, the start of the two-part question, that wasn't a question. Do you feel like the psychics and electronic voice boxes do a disservice to these cases online? Do you feel like it kind of the type of awareness?
Well, I don't know much about that. I know a lot about facts, but TBI themselves and detectives have told me that you wouldn't believe how accurate some of these psychics and mediums really are, and I will say that.
Fair
and
enough.
That's just coming from, and it really blew my mind. I ain't gonna lie, it really blew my mind when they said this, because here I am thinking like, really, wow. And like, I've never studied that. I don't really like to speak on things I don't know personally, because that's like me saying something is wrong with this when I don't know nothing about that. I did hear our recordings of what they have with what they call a spirit box or whatever. I did hear that, and just to be honest with you, it freaked me the hell out. Because I was there and I could hear it in the background as I was doing the search. I could hear that thing, and I was like, wow. And it was voices saying different names.
Okay.
So, and it was different tones of voices coming through, and there was nothing on the other end pulling the string. So, I mean, yeah.
Right.
It wasn't me.
I was freaked out.
Okay. Are you familiar? The second part is, do you cover much, like, as far as covering, watch much of what transpires online? And the subset to that question is are you familiar with the psychic lady named Juanita?
Well, no, I've heard of her through little groups in here, from the Summer Wells groups and things about her. I have never personally seen one of her videos. I've only watched a couple of videos on the psychic Raven, the psychic Raven. And again, I can't speak on these people because I don't know these people personally. I don't know what they have contributed as far as going and looking into it. Only thing I looked into is a few of the trolls that was actually hitting us, and their connections with those people, and then going back to their family and who they're associated with, and people who are associated with child trafficking. So you see what I'm getting at? It's all a big circle that connects.
Absolutely.
And we have connections with that we have connections that we have made, that kind of connects around that. So why not continue on with investigations toward that? And if it leads toward Summer being found, hey, more the merrier, right?
Absolutely, Ernie.
So,
does anyone on the panel have a question for Ernie? Sorry, I'm kind of hogging him up.
I got a couple.
That's
Were
right.
you
I'm done.
invited by Don Wells?
Hold on, guys.
Don Wells. Let me get that. Don Wells was supposed to do an interview with us.
Yeah, I stopped that.
Okay.
Because I didn't like what I saw the videos up, so I asked him to hold off on that. So I just didn't know you well enough. The videos were a little incriminating, and people like Don wanted to.
Right, and I understand that, but I'm just going to be honest.
I just want to know, though, not to be rude, Ernie. Did he invite you to come there? Was he the one who asked you to come there and do that?
No.
Okay. And then did he call you and say he wanted an interview, or were you guys calling him to ask for an interview?
No, I would have never done that anyways.
But I know who did off your team. I just want to know what your answer is, if you even knew what happened or not.
No. And the person that set that up is not part of my team. So let's get that.
Was that Mountain Girl?
Okay, they're saying they are, just so you know. No, it's a different. I don't want to say the person's name because I won't
No,
lead on like
no,
that.
no. It's
But you know who I mean, right, Ernie?
right. I know who. I know
Okay.
who. I know who you're talking about. But
Okay.
no, we never asked. We never asked that. They came to us and
let me
asked if
establish
it
this.
would be nice. And Don said that he wanted to do it. So that's all I know about that. Go ahead.
Hold on, guys.
Okay.
What I want to say real quick to Ernie is Ernie, this is in no way a setup, sir, and I don't want you to feel like you've been set up. This is just the regular bunch of friends, critical thinkers.
Right.
Share the one that you were just.
Yeah, because I can only go by what Don tells me, you know.
Correct.
Yeah, like
Right.
Ernie, I'm not trying to like jump on you, but I can only go by what they tell me, and I'm not necessarily saying that's 100% truth, you know. So.
Right, I understand. Well, I seen during the live video somebody tagged Don Wells in it, and then after that, the video, everything was called off. Then after that, that was a foolish mistake because I would have busted his ass with the questions and my experience I have of over 18 years. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Go ahead. Next question.
Do you plan on are you still working the case from Tennessee?
I'm working a couple of different things right now from Tennessee. Actually, there's a little boy that's missing now, and we're trying to working on that right now. With the Summer Wells thing, just to be honest with you, we was asked to do that one thing beforehand when it first happened. We was asked, you know, we reach out. They didn't want our help, so we continued, like I said, the predator investigations and what we do. And you know, we did this one thing. Of course, you seen what happened with the Speedway and all that. So you know, I kind of just cut it from there.
Super familiar with what happened at the Speedway. I just know that you were there, and that's the gist of it. I think that first of all, I want to thank you, sir, for. First of all, I want to thank you for your resolve, for the fact that even having a brother that you're tied to biologically, that if he's doing the wrong thing, he's still a bad guy, and you'll still bring him to the police, right? Like that is an awesome thing, and I know that probably had to have been one of the hardest things that you've ever had to do. And so, but I guess. I have another question. Are you familiar organizations like the pro-protective parenting groups?
Being familiar, no, not really. I talked to a few people, not exactly into that group, but who associate with people like that in them groups.
You know what they do, right?
What's that?
You know what they do, right?
Not really. No.
Okay,
not exactly that group. Not exactly that group. I don't. But I know other advocacies and what they do, but not exactly that one.
Well, I guess let me narrow it down so that I can kind of focus and hone the question.
If you tell me the members in it, I probably know what they do then. Just let's say that, because you know the people by who they are, not the group what they stand for.
Understandable. So protective groups are networks that will help people with different varying custody issues. Some of these organizations will help biological families get children from out of services, or help one parent get a child from another parent, and then hide them in their network until it can be resolved away. So Human Aid Solutions was involved in the situation with Hunter, where what Human Aid Solution did was they created some what's called domestic traveling papers for a minor. And then, so then these papers were then earmarked for Bikers Against Child Abuse. And essentially what it was a setup for illegal kidnapping.
Oh, wow.
Are you aware of any, would you consider that a trafficking? I guess that's the overall question. Like,
I've had a run-in with something like that before.
Okay.
I know that there was an agency, which is executive protection. I do executive protection, and they've asked me to transport a kid to a parent, and I wouldn't do it because of the legalities of it. and because what it has to entail, and because I would be alone with whoever. It don't matter if I put somebody with me or whatever, with that child, and it's untelling what's set up with that.
Absolutely.
What comes with that later. That's
Absolutely.
the only thing about that. Now, I have seen times that, if you guys remember the case with the rescue I did in Brent, Tennessee, when I rescued a 3-year-old had been sold on that she'd already been sold, and they was coming to get her, and the mother and her little girl was 3 years old, and I drove them all the way from Brent, Tennessee to Louisiana without stopping, and the mother had a chip, had a tracking device in her leg, and then after we got like 25 minutes out and it went off, and they pretty much totaled the whole side of the car, busted it up, and I was trying my best to get pulled over. I mean, and I had it on Facebook Live, and every time I would put it on Facebook Live, they would flag me. They would take the live video down, but I've got like the video and stuff of me holding the girl, and and then we get all the way to Louisiana, and then her parents find out or the parents she ain't seen in like 10 years, finds out, and they've never seen their granddaughter before, finds out that how big and dangerous it really was, and then they turn both the mother and the child away, and then I end up bringing them all the way. Now this is without no sleep or anything. This is straight through. This is a 16-hour drive. This is going through, in and out of interstates, off of the exits, 115 miles an hour, trying to escape these people that's after us. It was just a crazy, crazy ordeal. Wow. I had all these agencies who said, "Oh, when you go through the compound, we'll have people there and we'll have your back." When it came time to do it, I was the only one that showed up. I was the only one that did it. I disguised myself as a pizza guy, because we wear different hats in the field. Let's put it that way. I had an empty pizza box. Didn't even have a pizza in it. I broke through the human trafficking compound and got to the place where she was at. Wow. Passed through all their hawks and everything, and got that girl and her kid, and she was able to get one little bitty bag of clothes out. So, when it comes to people, they're going to have your back. They're going to do this. And I tore my car up. I used my own money. Everything was on me. And, that's what kind of makes me sick with some of these organizations that's out there who owe this and that, and they wear flip-flops and, house shoes and sandals of these rescues. They have no clue, because they don't bring a chihuahua. Yeah, they bring a chihuahua or whatever that was. Anyway, that's what, and I get steamed up about it because I'm passionate about what I do with kids. And it's just like this instance. There was a girl went missing. She's gone 5.5 months. I was on the case one night. I got a hotel room, and they were sitting there telling me about it. Within 4.5 hours, traveling 2 states, it's across 2 state lines, I found this girl in an abandoned junkyard, and in this little camper with locks all around it. I've got a video up of that. And 5.5 months she'd been missing, and I brought her home, and it was just awesome. I've got a video up of that. But it's things like that that really make you mad, when there's these agencies out there who actually take people's money and saying they're doing this when they're not doing this, and they're doing something else with it. And then the people who actually does do things, who's got certifications, this is the first thing, which I've got, and all our guys in Predator Hunter Nation has, and we can show all this, and we still get hit like what we do. Even though, we made a TikTok in 3 days, had 5 million views, 190,000 followers, and, just pretty much went viral. We wasn't even trying with it. So, that really much, stuff like that really kind of, it hits home to me, because here we're out there doing it for what God gave us is our heart. And it's just like the phrase I say, people don't understand. General awareness is the key to preventing all this. And I say this, our eyes and our ears have deceived us. Only our God-given hearts will lead us. And that's a fact. A lot of other people get on here and they've got little teleprompters here and there. I don't have a teleprompter right now. I'm sitting in the car. I just got finished with some class. Actually had I guess you call it a night lunch break. We train in the nighttime. Because if we're good in the night and we can't see nothing hardly, but we can do defensive tactics in night, Imagine in the daytime what we can do to you when we can see you. A lot different.
Hey, Ernie, I'm Camden.
Good.
We're kind of locals around this area with the summer case, and we went in and looked into some stuff this past weekend, and it's a bigger case than what people think. There's a lot of people that haven't even been looked into because there's a lot of tunnel vision.
Yeah. Let me say one thing before you continue. And
Yeah.
when you say bigger case, I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's a proven fact. Before, when kids are getting ready to be sold, if it's
Right.
a female, if it's a little girl, they cut their hair. That way they can disguise them to go through anything. Because you're looking for a little girl.
Right.
A little girl. When you say the word little girl, you picture, hey, a little girl, shoulder length hair, right? Do you picture short hair? No, you don't.
No, okay, I understand. But from what I've seen, her hair had been cut for a while, wasn't it? Because when they shaved her head, it was shaved pretty down close, and it had been growing for a while.
That's them saying that. All we know is what they say. We don't
What
have
about pictures of her? Wait, but what about pictures of her in the past? She shaved her hair multiple times, though, not just one time.
Right. Okay. You got that one there. That's good.
Well, no, but I think that what Ernie is doing is he's saying that that is one of the MOs.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
And that does look weird with her dancing around a for sale bin. I'll give you that. And I've told Don that looks bad.
Yeah,
but
it does.
Right. No, and that was the next thing. That was actually the next thing I was getting ready to hit on. Is actually on his profile.
In terms of what's typical, right? You're speaking in terms of what's typical. And then, of course, we know that this situation is very atypical. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
exactly.
That's where when we try to apply typical neurodiversity to these things, we know that we can't apply regular interrogation tactics to Don because he thinks atypically. You cannot apply atypical standards to folks that aren't typical, right? And so I say all that to say that there is a great deal of us, not just Don and Candace. Right. There's millions of us who are atypical that don't fit. Like you can't interrogate me with the same tactics either because I'm an atypical thinker, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. And I like people like that who think that way, who think outside that box, who think other ways around and how you can do this and how you can do that to get to point A to point B.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing too. When I first seen the photo of Summer Wells laying against the milk and the milk cartons and all that with the milk jugs, my first thing I did was looked at that photo and took in perception. I mean, even before I even knew anything, I'm going to be honest. I said she was deceased in that photo. And I'll tell you why I said that. Her lipstick was blotched. Looked like somebody just put it on her.
Okay.
Her fingers was puffy. Around her nails, inflammation had started in. Her hand was like this.
Okay.
Around her eyes was purple. If you look at it, you can see some of the signs. You can see how a lot less color in her face.
Okay.
There's a lot of things in that, and I want to be wrong with this. Of course, somebody, and like I said, I've not got to look into much in this. I've only got to see on what's coming new. I've not really got to go back and grasp everything because I'm busy with everything else, and I found out we was not going to be, continuing on with this. Right. So what part that I know is what I see and what I've seen, just here lately. That's it. That's all I really know about
I'm not coming against you. I'm not coming against you. What I wanted to ask is, you sound like you're from the country, like I am too, and that around here. That from around here, man, people are different. It's not like the rest of the world. We live in a different area. And about that picture with the milk carton or with the milk jugs and everything, there was another channel creator that had a coroner come on and look at that picture and said that she was absolutely and he's pretty big. He was former law enforcement also, and he in that coroner said that he thought that she thought that Summer was still alive because of the color of her lips and all that too. But I mean, moving on past that, but what I was saying about the whole when we went down there and looked into, I don't know if you have all the information about with all the other people, the neighbors' property and everything. I feel like everything needs to be looked through with an open lens before you can start coming back to just one person or anything. That's all.
Exactly. Well, that's why I said if Don, and here's the thing, I don't know Don. I've never spoken to Don.
Right.
I've spoken through somebody to Don that way, but I wasn't. Our questions was going to start out, hey, why in the world would the community think that a nice guy like you would do such, if this is a heinous act, would be responsible for it? Stuff like that. You see how easy of a question that was? I was going to build into it.
Right.
But I do have a few questions, and it ain't his favorite ice cream.
Right. Hey, well, how about, if you're cool with it.
What are they? What are your questions?
Yeah, why don't you can go ahead and ask them, Ernie. You can ask them, and we'll see if it's something that Don wants to address, or not. But you can feel free to ask your questions, sir.
I'll ask one question, and we'll talk about some stuff we can write up. I've actually got a whole notebook full that some friends and our team, some people from FLETC, some people I know from there, has wrote some things, and I put my input in it, and I've just gathered a lot of input here in the last little bit, but we formed them into questions. But one of them is does Don still have that photo, the actual photo that was taken from his cell phone or whatever device, that shows when Summer was against the milk cartons, was laying against the milk cartons? If I had that actual photo, you can pull such a thing called like the metadata on it.
Right.
You can do things with that and maybe find a location. Where was you at? Where was that photo taken? When was it taken? What, because like I said, I've not got to look into this stuff. I just
Candace
see things from the out.
That was Candace and the grandmother.
Right. Well, whoever took that photo, if they had that actual photo from the phone that it was taken from, would they submit it? Would they be willing to submit it, or just that way we could see it and have our guys take a look at it and then do a study on it? Simple.
Single action. Let's go. No hammer.
That would be one of them. The next, I've got a few questions. Like I said, we can talk about it and we can design it up for the next. We can do another segment if you want to about it.
We just come into this, and everybody will say, "Well, y'all are just pro Don, pro this." It's not just that. It's pro innocent until proven guilty. Till everything is crossed off. Till everything is till evidence is put forth to state some facts about everything. And I always
right.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, I always go by this saying. This is a saying I always go by. Any investigation, anything, and even if it's not investigation I get into or whatever, there's always this. There's always their side, your side, and then there's the truth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to take a little bit from this side and this side.
That's
and
right.
come together
That's
and
true.
find your truth.
I mean, yes and no, because that's when you have two players. We have many players in this, so technically we got, a lot more than the three sides.
Right. Well, I mean, I understand that part, but I guarantee you, when you find out if it was a third party involved, that
Correct.
There's going to be a connection of at least somebody knowing.
Yeah, I have a tendency to agree, because we know the stats, like, of the tens of thousands of kids that are abducted every year, around 100 to 300, depending on the fluctuation, are actually stranger danger abductions. And so for the past 2 days, I've been doing awareness, Ernie, because right now there's this abduction panic that's going on where, the news is telling parents, don't take the first day pictures with the chalkboard that's got the child's name and the classroom and the school and all of that, because your kids, people are going to take your kid when you post it online, right? Well, the real deal is that we've been lying to children for about a century when it comes to stranger danger, because we've been telling them, don't do this, don't do that, a stranger will take you. Schools, everyone lies to these children, when in all actuality, the media is really saying, don't post pictures of your children online if you are in an estranged domestic situation where you have sole custody, because that's who's going to abduct the child. It's going to be a familial abduction 98% of the time.
Exactly. And it's just like you said, 97, 98% of this stuff happens in the home. Think about it. And that's true. It's true. And even the percentage rate from that, if it don't happen at home, it's right near the home.
Yeah.
And it's got something to do with the family or the home or the ex-boyfriend or, custody battles. All this starts with that. But there is a danger out there that a lot of people don't understand. And it's with awareness, and this is what we teach, is general awareness. There is ways that you can, you can never be 100%. Right. You're never going to be 100% safe. No, there's no method out there that can make you 100% safe.
Really quick, does the percentage go down quite a bit knowing that there's 11 offenders within 4 miles of that residence, though?
Yeah, I wondered.
Registered. Those are just ones that are registered, by the way.
The fact of the matter is, guys, yes, I mean, it will, but here's something else, too. We put too much into thinking that it's going to be people that's registered. Remember, those people that's registered have done their time. They have seen things out there, and they see, whether they rehabilitated or not. But it's the ones that's not been caught, the ones that we don't know about, the evil that we think is afar. It's not. It's right around us. It's hidden in our society, but we don't know what to look for. So when you say it's usually the ones who reoffend and all that,
recidivism.
Look at the statistics of it. Child predators usually don't reoffend. Think about it. It's usually new child predators.
I agree with that to an extent. I agree.
Unless they've got this evil sickness about them, which is every one of them really. And here's what I don't understand is people say they have a mental disorder. Let me tell you, anybody who messes with a child has some kind of disorder. They have to.
Absolutely. Yeah. They are atypical. They are an atypical brain for sure.
Exactly. Absolutely. And it's like blood in the it's like blood in the water. It attracts sharks.
Mix. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me ask you real quick. What's your record as a predator hunter, Ernie? How many you bagged, man? Tell us all.
Oh, well, let's see. In Newport alone, in the last 2-3 weeks, we've bagged 5 or 6.
Wow. So let me ask you another question. How many years have you handed out?
Well, bounty hunting, 18 years. How
many years have you put these offenders in jail for, accumulatively?
If we talk, right now, none. Well, I mean, with what we're doing with Predator Hunter Nation, none because of the TSA code.
It's a process. Yes, it is a process.
No. It's the thing about it is where we're not licensed as law enforcement and where we're not as law enforcement, there is certain groups of law enforcement that will, they'll work with you parallel.
Correct.
And like when I first started with Predator Hunter Nation, I met with Department of Homeland Security and detectives from the Sheriff's Department. We had a game plan set. I turned in 2 or 3 different files that was predators that had been captured. This one we'd already had stung, but not got to go after yet. I mean, he was already committed to felonies online. And what's so sick and what's so scary about this one particular guy drives up and down the roads and the back roads looking for children. Think about that.
Wow.
And that's scary because you can imagine how kids get on their bicycles and they just like to ride these back roads and around the towns and around the little houses. And then you got this predator that's doing that. So he wanted to meet a 12 and 13-year-old who he thought was camping, both of them, who he thought was going to be camping. And of course, we turned that into the Department of Homeland Security and everything was a go. And then all of a sudden, you have certain district attorneys and the way certain people you got to go through to get things done. And of course, they want to use this law and that law and this TSA law. So what I did is I'm working on scheduling a meeting with the governor of Tennessee, who I know personally, and let's see what we can do and see if we can do something and turn that law around. That's the whole big thing about it. If you don't like something, you make change. You get change.
Are you familiar with the petition that was put together that Benny and a few of us did?
I am not. I'm not. As a matter of fact, I'm glad that Benny come up here and he messaged me, and now I'm starting to look more into him and what he does. And at first, I'm going to be honest with you, he scared the living hell right out of me.
Right.
I seen a fingerprint. I seen a fingerprint for a profile picture on Facebook. Couldn't find nothing else about him. I'm sitting there like, and sent a friend request. I'm like, oh hell no.
Hey, you know what? What qualifies me, Ernie, is I spent the first 20 years of my life battling these judges and battling these courts and battling these jails and institutions and shit. And so now that's what people are like, man, you know a lot of the court jargon. Like, man, look here. I was a jailhouse attorney for a long time. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And so
right.
I'm just an old crook, man, an old retired crook. And now I've found my way.
I know exactly what you mean by that, brother. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
It gives you a better outlook on things.
A lot of people, here's the thing. Here's what I like about it. And here's what I say. Say if you've got somebody who does this stuff, who's never been in trouble before with the law, who's never done anything, yet they mean right and they've done this stuff, and they're for the right, and they're doing these investigations, they're doing these advocacies, but do you know they still don't have the experience of what someone has that has been in trouble, that knows what the jail's like, that knows that code, that knows those people and how to react and how to take those people and how to understand those people. Because, like I said, I tell everybody, I'm not the best person in the world and don't claim to be. I've got a past. I've got a history. I've been to jail twice, maybe 3 times, I think. I think I slapped a guy and got put in jail once. But anyway, that's the kind of person I am. I'm one of those people who love the people, who want to be, who want to do what's right and do it, and we do it effectively. I'm not one who just likes to sit here and talk and play behind the keyboard. I'm one of those people who like to walk up there to the bad guys and slap the fire out of you and hit you quick. It's just like our special forces of liberty. It's just speed, surprise, and overwhelming force. That's what I like. Go ahead.
So with your past, because we all have a past up here on this panel tonight.
Yes, we do.
Is it fair to say that you went there to go interview Don? Am I fair to feel like you already assume that one or both parents are guilty of something?
No, because I can't say that because I've not talked to them. Like I said, I don't know them, and I won't make no judgment.
Hold on, no, right. I was just asking because you had said something like, "Well, I would have cracked him," so it made me think, "Oh, okay, so you think he's guilty?" So I just wanted to ask because then, if you've got to pass like the rest of us.
Well, when I say crack, I mean to prefer it to is I can either find out, what my opinion, because it'll just be my opinion alone, because everybody else has their own opinion. What I think, when I say crack,
right. Hold on, I just wanted to make sure, like, you don't go into cases, not even just the Wells, but any cases, because I don't think it's fair to go into something, and I've been guilty of it. I had to remind myself, like, I help people in prison that have wrongful charges, right? So I had my suspicions. I was texting Don exactly what I was saying. I thought he was guilty. I was texting Don very summer. But you don't go into it tunnel vision, right? Like, you don't go, I think so-and-so is guilty, but I'm going to go.
But let me give Don Wells a little bit of advice. You don't do what he's doing right now. You don't do what he's doing right now if you're innocent. I'll just say that. You don't cut certain people off. You don't do certain things, and you don't go and exploit things for like he does in these certain groups, and he does it. I don't know if you're familiar with it. At 1 or 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't go and you drink and get on the panel and talk about, this and that. You don't do that. I'm sorry, but you don't. If you're innocent, you don't do that. But I will give him the benefit of the doubt and say, I don't know him. I don't know his intentions. I don't know, like I said, I don't know the family. I don't know him. But I do know that he shies away from a lot. And characteristics of a criminal. I'm sorry, but it is.
Are you familiar? Do you have a good understanding of how Hawkins County treats cases involving children? I'm not aware. You don't? Okay.
I don't, but I have a ton of their residents and community people who have, even some of the officials have messaged me. First off, we thank you for what you do. You guys are the real guys. We see that now. Thank you. We appreciate you coming in, stuff like that. But as far as, and then a lot of the people come in, our law enforcement this, our law enforcement that. I cannot speak on that. I cannot, because I don't know them. I don't know them personally. And I hate to be the one who speaks on things, speaks on people and be wrong about it, and then have to do, this over again and just apologize, because I'd rather do it right. You check it twice, you cut it once. That way you don't have to worry about it.
Measure twice, cut it once.
Exactly.
Yep. No, I get you. So let me ask you another question. My friend Cam, who's on the panel, he actually, like he said, he went down there last weekend, and I also have been in a boots on the ground scenario where I live here in Dallas, and the emotions are just, I mean, they're insane. They're through the roof, the emotions when you're on these scenes, and I tried to relay that to Cam, and of course there's just no way that you can relay that to somebody, and I was on the FaceTime with him while he was going to a lot of these different, these key areas that we all know that are relative to the case. And he got those emotions. Like, he was just like, well, I'm just like so emotionally overwhelmed. Like, tell me about how your emotions were while you were doing the work on the Speedway. How were you feeling?
Well, first off, I was listening and taking into everything, and I was trying to take my thoughts aside of it and listen to what had already been prior. They'd already been 27 people that had been there, 27, 28 people that had searched the place. So I knew, things was going to be tracked down the way, because I'm a tracker. I mean, I don't know if you guys know it, but I was trained by American Indians when I was 5, 6 years old. I used to play hide and go seek with them. What better trackers than the Native American? Right. So when I was looking, there's certain ways trails lead out, and you can tell what a 2-day trail is. You can tell if it's even older than that. And I was seeing these bushes beat down, and, of course, that's natural. But I was not seeing the creek banks, no footprints in the mud, and it rained. There's still going to be footprints. There was nothing down there. So we turned over boat parts and old boats, and we was in muddy. And we just searched the creek banks pretty much, where they said that if she was to be found, it would probably be them areas. So, and yes, I mean, it was emotional. It was emotionally draining. It really was. I was thinking, because I always look at it like I had this gift. Every time I've tried to find someone, I've always had like this extra push about me that I know it comes from God, and kind of like leading me on it. And it was like I had that, but it was more of this is going to be a dead end kind of thing. This is going to be, and I still searched it. As you can see in my videos, I'll be like, in my live videos, the one I was holding the camera, I'm like, if I don't search it and if there's something there, I'm going to regret this. So I would just go through the briars. I had cuts all over my arms and everything, and didn't care, and then search it anyways. Well, anything that could have been there, we done our best. We searched all the way through the fences and boundary lines and everything.
We tried to go through with what we did. I'm sorry, guys, for that static if it's coming through. I don't know where that's coming from, but that people I saw in the chats commenting on it. But what we went down to, like, for example, the horse pond down there, I just tried to put myself like where the emotion was that Summer was feeling. She looked like she's having a good time there. You could feel it was emotional kind of to be there. And we went out into the water, and I took a tape measure and tried to show the exact depth where it went to how far the tree went out. I'm just trying to show facts about everything. Yeah. Go ahead.
Did you notice on the ground the chemicals that was on the ground? Did your boots fall? Did you have any problems with your boots?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any. I just had my regular shoes on, the slide on.
Well,
hey dudes,
two of our members, our boots fell apart, and we've got real high quality boots.
Right.
And that's from like Eastman, they do if you
chemical.
Ever. Right.
Yeah.
And it literally ate the sewing part of the heels and the boot, literally. The ammonia or whatever, they put in horse stock. When horses or whatever use the restroom, use the bathroom, it's ammonia like, and it was on the grounds. It was kind of like that. We was taping our boots literally when we got so far. So
when we got down in there, I don't know. I didn't have any problems to that. You could smell Eastman chemical pretty heavy all through Kingsport. But as far as living around here, we all swim in the lakes and waters around here, and I grew up swimming in them also, and I've never, I don't know if that has something to do with being used to this area or not, but we have South Holston Lake, we have Warriors Path, Cherokee Lake. There's a bunch of them around here, and that's just what we do here, is that we all go swimming and we go to those little areas and do. But I didn't have any problem as far as like the chemical on the ground. But I can see where you're getting at with Eastman Chemical being around there.
Right.
As far as the other places that me and my wife went and looked into, I don't know if you looked into as far as the guy they called JD and what he was somebody, and I looked this up. He did buy that property. It's on Tennessee. It's on the Tennessee, the tax on the land, his name's on it. He did purchase it. It's the land, actually the driveway, the Wells driveway is kind of part of his land, kind of runs right around in there. And he was camping up in that area. And that's kind of what we're trying to bring into that. And he shaved his head, shaved his beard, his appearance 3 days after her going missing. And he posted missing children.
You said he shaved his head and his beard?
Yeah.
Have you got a photo of that guy?
Yeah, we're pulling him up right now.
I've got a whole video.
Because our tip was a bald-headed guy and was carrying the girl that looked like Summer. Do you know the vehicle type?
Well, he has a red S10 and a blue Blazer.
Okay. Well, I can't name the type of vehicle it was, and maybe me and you'll talk Ben here in a little bit, and I'll actually show you the shots. But I got to make sure that the tip that we submitted didn't lead to anything. I have to make sure of that because it may, if you was to post it or something, may hurt some investigation, and I sure don't want to do that.
That's not what we want. We went and checked that what I did was I used all public record of everything that was online. And he had posted an alibi at a certain motel that is out there in the area, and we went and took the exact picture that was in the picture of the alibi, and it didn't match up. But we got just get with Benny after that. But we have a whole video we put of it.
Ernie,
well, here's something too. If you'll submit me his information. If you'll just actually message me or give it to Ben and submit that, I have ways of tracking a lot of things. I can do anything.
The screen here?
I can.
Okay.
That's what he looked like before the abduction.
Right. Okay.
This is what he looked like 3 days after the abduction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Completely different.
And that's what, and look, and you notice in the background, in this back corner back here, those are my.
I see that.
He's got something drawn up.
Yeah, I see that. That's what I was getting ready to say. In the far end on the wall there, it's a little bit shady here, but if you guys can, hold on a second. Hey, can you message me that, Benny? That way I can look at it. Yeah, I see it good now. Yeah, I see that. He does have something drawn up there.
That's where we're getting at with that this is a lot bigger than what people think, and it's all been tunnel vision. That's why I was stating the thing.
Well, what we can do, I tell you what we can do. And
there's this vehicle.
How many people online do we have on here right now?
300.
300 right now? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much then because I'll give away some sources or something, and I don't want to do that right now.
Don't do that.
I'll actually message you here in a little bit if you'll hit me up with that. Both these photos, if you can do that, and I'm going to show you something that we've got that kind of looks similar. I don't know if it's going to be exactly, but there is a photo out there that I need you guys to look at and find for me if you guys can.
Okay.
In the background of it, there's the red vehicle. There's a red vehicle there, and is that the same? Is that the same vehicle, or is it not?
Okay. Well, this is what I was told, and I'm not going to state facts or anything about this. Is just what I heard. This blue vehicle here in this picture, these are both his. Okay,
right.
So this one over here is more like a Blazer looking deal, and they said that believed that he was sleeping and staying in that one and camping on that property. There was also a dispute he had with camping over property lines, and the law enforcement was called, and he refused to ID. And then he said that the day that she went missing, that he was staying at that motel, and it was late in the afternoon. And I mean, it just deserves a good look into, I believe.
It does. For him to change his appearance that quick, and I mean, like I said, that part don't lead to something. But I would like to know what those papers is on the back of his wall.
Go to Cracking Cases. That's our channel, and we put a whole thing together that shows everything we had there. So it give you a better idea. It's called the JD Theory.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some good tips. I got some things for you here, Benny, that I'm going to talk to you after the interview's over.
I'd like to talk to y'all with that too, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And then what we'll do is just create us a little chat kind of thing. I'll be in and out. Like I said, I've got to continue this class here in 15 more minutes. I've only got like a little lunch thing. I just kind of like done this on the lunch break. But once we get this class done, I'll hit you up. It may be even tomorrow. Because I got to be at work at 5:30 in the morning. And I do a lot. So I have to have at least 3 or 4 hours sleep. So, but
all right.
I appreciate it. And yeah.
We'll let you. I do appreciate your time, and I really I appreciate your resolve, sir. Thank
you.
You've got some good characteristics about yourself, and I think that that you're an asset to whatever you got going on, man. So God bless you for that.
Get those questions to Benny, Ernie, and we'll figure it out.
I will. I'll do what I can with that. Also, everyone check out our Predator Hunter Nation. Check us out. You can see how we do live bust on child predators, and the biggest thing about it is we are for you, the people, because without you, the people, there are no we, the people. Thank you, guys. Much respect, and God bless you guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Ernie. God bless you, brother. We'll talk soon. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope that was informative. I hope that you feel like maybe there's been a little bit of focus. Maybe you can see a little clearly now what was going on with different situations.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is, guys. At the very least, I do appreciate Ernie's time, and we'll see what's to come from Ernie in the future.
And it's good that eyes are open to bigger pictures through that, to bigger things.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. I think that it's imperative to for us as content creators, and for us as just human beings that love and have a passion for children, we've got to run those checks and balances on ourselves all the time, right? It's almost like we could have started this live in one direction and then, curl around into a bad one. So you really just got to be, in the checks and balances all the time. And what we do realize about these situations, guys, I hope we're starting to realize, is that we can always attract more honey or more honey. Yeah, we can always attract more bees with honey, right? So
yeah, then you can vinegar.
Yeah, like so.
Yeah.
We need to be real careful about just coming at people with the aggression. I do it. I'm the chief offender. That I am the chief offender. In fact, let me show you what kind of offender I must be, and then we'll wrap up with that.
I will say for my approach and how we try to approach our channel, I was wrong coming into this, and then I changed. I tried to be more open to it. So it's always good to look at things and use, instead of going full force hate into it, to be open minded, have an open heart, and listen before you do anything else. And I'll apologize right now if I come across any way at the beginning. So.
Yeah, so this is a thing now, guys. Would everyone report Blood Money Benny Keys, please? This person needs to be stopped. Aggressive bullying and harassment, hatred behavior. That is a fair assessment, I would say. I do exhibit those very tactics on the people that are attacking my Lady Justice. If you're attacking my Lady Justice, I will be aggressive. If you're attacking Lady Justice, I will be on the edge of bullying. I do not bully anyone. And I will get involved with the harassment. Just like you're harassing these families, guess what? Don't spoon it if you don't like the way it tastes. With that being said, guys, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. I want to thank Cam. I want to thank the beautiful Cher. I want to thank the beautiful Aussie as well. And we also have the beautiful Allison in our thoughts.
Yeah.
Lizzie, thank you for showing up. Denise, Autumn, Q. Hey, Q. Good to see you. Great talking to you the other night. Cajun Adventures, so on and so forth, guys. We love all of you. Have anything you want to close with? Do you want to?
No, I just want to say mods rocked it. Your mods rocked it tonight.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out too to the people that came over from other channels that are modding for us, man. Y'all are amazing, and I'll shout out to Stan in New Zealand. He knows who he is. He's been awesome. Yeah.
Yep, we've got a new addition to the team, and it is Stan from New Zealand. Stan is 11 years old, and Stan is a fucking genius. So shouts out to the parents that made Stan just for us. And thank you, New Zealand. Now I've got 315 of y'all in here, and I don't know how many of y'all even know about our petition. But if you would look in the chat right now, I am going to post, or rather pin. This is a link to our petition for summer. Please go look at it. We have the framework in it now. We aren't trying to pass a crazy petition to get people to do things that we know they can't do. What we have done is put together a legal framework that will allot us. It'll allot us the power to instill and install some sort of code of ethics. Not only that, but we are balling that and coupling that together with the active cyber bullying and cyber crime laws that are already on the books but aren't actively being enforced. So we hope that this petition will kind of couple a lot of things together in order to make to stop the solicitation and exploitation of children, the crimes against children, right? Like we see a lot of people in there. I like to do my stuff over here because you can't super chat. I don't know how to turn the button off yet, but for me, it's not about that. I don't have such a large channel that I have operating costs. There are a lot of channels that do, and I salute them for being able to do that. For me, it's just not my thing. So, guys, for Cam and Allison at Cracking Cases, and Cher at Voices Behind the Wall, Mr. Mark, Prairie Boy 77, I appreciate you all. God bless.